sele zikade kagoba izembe makhulu khulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu bhungane ziyengane ziyengumuntu zimyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengenyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu kubekise ngathi siyamjamela ndlubu zamile kubini ngoba sisaba ukwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe sikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibo lude lungakhotha endlwaneni konke wezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawula imithi emncane emkhulu vele izwele mahluba mahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izimpondo zawungelengele inkosi kayiqedwa.
Kembo tata na nzambi ya mazulu mpungu tulendo so nini na nini somandla ngai morungu mwene nyaga. Depending on where you are, I greet you. Nusiemi betwa bumbote bana bayuselele molweni abantuana abangoni bayete to all the daughters and sons of the soil. Muriega shiana shiangai na kenda moyoru. Yes, today is a very special day, and as we sit and truly divide the word of truth, today is a special day indeed, because on a day like this, many cycles of the sun that are passed, a son was born to this soil, a son that would become the king of the cradle. Yes, Banabeto, on such a day, His Majesty, Chancellor, King Bungane III, was born on this day. Allow us to share some of the footage that has been coming to us from across the world, wishing His Royal Majesty a great solar return. Bayete.
And long life. Please enjoy your day, His Majesty. Happy birthday, His Majesty. Hope you have a wonderful day. I wish you all God's blessings and long life. Please enjoy your day, His Majesty.
All over you, asking you to play the drums again. So happy birthday to you. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Bayete. Bayete, Bayete. Happy birthday, Your Majesty. It's an honor, such an honor to truly know you, to get to know you, also to participate in this great mission. Overall, I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you enjoy the peace and the love and the excitement and enjoyment of all those children. I know they're jumping all over you, asking you to play the drums again. So happy birthday to you. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Bayete.
Ngathi uNkulunkulu angaba nabo abanikeze iminyaka emihle enempilo ekahle bangaguli abawongeleze iminyaka yabo empilweni. Siyabonga. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Olekane litou, olekane litou, olekane litou, lelekane litou. Hip hip.
Auntie.
Kulukwatile, what's Wona watelela.
Ubu auntie.
Uyatelari.
Okay. Guys, thank you very much.
Umsindo, them noise. Umsindo.
Ayikho into engi-annoya njengomsindo. There's one thing that I hate in my life. Umsindo. Besicela uzosikhathela ikhekhe gogo. All right. Let me do it. My part.
Blow the candle. Hip hip hooray!
Okay. All right. That's the part I cut.
Yeah, mkhuluile phela.
Yeah. What is this? Chocolate. What do you mean by chocolate? Is it? Yeah, in babies and this chocolate. I don't eat black forest. What is this? Chocolate. Okay.
Yeah, bayete.
Who wants to share the cake with me?
Can I?
Whoa.
Okay. We'll cut it in pieces.
kagoba izembe makhulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu bhungane ziyengane ziyengumuntu zimyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengonyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu ubekise ngathi siyamjamela ndlubuzamile kubini ngoba zisabu kwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe sikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibolude lungakhothama endlwaneni konke wezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawuli imithi emncane emkhulu evela izwele mahluba amahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izipondo zawungelengele inkosi kayiqedwa.
Yes, Bayete, children of the soil. Indeed, it is a joyous day for His Royal Majesty King Bungane. With us today is His Excellency President Lavelle. You may greet the people. Your Excellency.
Bayete, blessings everyone. Hope all is well. What a wonderful day to celebrate His Majesty, His Royal Majesty, Chancellor King Bungane III of Imbo Kingdom. Many birthday wishes. Also good to see you as well, His Excellency Yakubi BANTU. Blessings, Bayete. Glad to be here in the mix once again.
Bayete. His Majesty was with us, but he did notify me he's on the road. So perhaps, Your Excellency, you can give us an opening word as we wait for His Royal Majesty, Chancellor King Bungane III, to join us.
Absolutely, Bayete. So one word that I would love to talk about briefly, especially considering the theme of today, is African spirituality. Being myself from the diaspora, from the United States of America, let me say this, that the word or the term diaspora is not a nation. It is not a specific group of people that is considered to be a nation. No, the word diaspora simply means scattered. It means dispersed. And it is specific to those who were in the transatlantic slave trades, along with those who were in the Arab slave trades around the 1200s. The 12, 13, and 1400s, and then the transatlantic slave trade shortly thereafter. early 1600s. So when we think of the word diaspora, we have to understand that these were people who came from the continent who were scattered. Can you hear me and see me all right, sir?
Yes, Your Excellency, I can hear you, and I do not want to cut short your train of thought because you're sharing something very important.
No worries. It looks as though the screen might be doing a little something strange, at least on my side. Is it okay on your side?
Yes, we have you on full screen on this end.
Okay, no worries. So as I was saying, with diaspora, you have to understand that the people in the scattered group, in the dispersed group, the diaspora, are people who descend from somewhere specifically, which is the continent of Africa, specifically sub-Saharan Africa. But also, you cannot just leave it to that, because many would say, "Oh, they come from this tribe or that tribe. These people or those people." But indeed, diaspora, or the people who were scattered in the slave trades, were predominantly about over 90 to 95% of the people were Bantu people, even in both slave trades, right? But each of them, all of them, come from a father, come from a mother or mothers. And so when we look at this, we have to understand that these are a specific people, people that actually come from people, from a person, right? So we look at Bantu, we don't look at it from the lenses of this group is separate from that group, or that group is separate from this. We look at it as this is a whole people. This is a whole people group. And when we break down the word Bantu itself, understanding that Bantu, we understand it to mean the people. So that is very specific. And it's not people, it's not all people, it's the people. That's very specific. Yeah. And so even in so doing, the word Bantu, the breakdown of it being Ba, meaning to be associated with. And I want you guys to understand, these are some of these things. Some of these things I've known prior to coming to Africa, but other things I've learned while being in Africa, while living in Africa for approximately 9 months, and listening and learning, talking with the elders, talking with other folks, and just listening, just learning, asking questions, researching on my own, right? Bantu, the word ba, is to meaning to be associated with. And the word into, many of you on the continent understand, into meaning the soul or the spirit of heaven. And when we look back into the history of creation, of man's creation, and we consider Adam, Adam and Shawa, or in other words, Adam and Eve, we remember Adam specifically before Eve came on the scene, or Shawa came on the scene. The Most High, the Creator, Elohim, so Nini na Nini, Kulu Kulu, Yahuwah, the creator of all things seen and unseen, breathed the breath of life, or breathed the spirit into the nostrils of Adam, right? So Adam, he was had into going within him, into, right? So when we look at the word Bantu, meaning to be associated with that spirit, to be associated with the living soul, that's where we come from. So when we look at those who are in the diaspora, those are the people who are also in the diaspora, just like many of you brothers, many of you sisters on the continent. We are the same people. The only difference was 400, 600 years ago, our people were taken away from you. Otherwise, we would have grown up with you. I would have been right next door to you in Soweto townships. I would have been right next door to you in Kinshasa, Congo. I would have been right next door to you with the Ateke people in Gabon. I would have been right next door to you with the Ashanti people in Ghana, right over there hanging out in Kumasi. Huh? I would have been right next door to you in Eastern Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Eritrea, Somalia, all throughout the sub-Sahara Africa. Right. So it's because of those slave trades, it's because of the dispersion or the separation. We have been distant from one another, but we're at a critical time right now where the prophecy that the same creator who created Adam and Chawa, who created the Garden of Eden, who created all things outside of the garden, right? We're at a critical time right now where he is bringing us back together again, where we're beginning to unite, and he's able to help us to realize our identity. He even told our forefather Abraham, told him in Genesis, I believe it was chapter 13. For those of you who read your Bibles, it's also even in the Quran, right? So when you look at this, he told Adam or Abraham, he told him, he said, for 400 years, no, for a shorty, 400 years, your seed shall be a stranger in a land, and they will be captives for 400 years. 400, huh? Okay, 400 years. Well, as of 1619, August of 1619, when the first foot of our ancestors stepped on the grounds, on the earth of North America, all right, specifically, I believe that was South Carolina, all right, when they first, or it was South Carolina, I believe it was, when they first stepped foot over there, it was in 1619. Well, in 2019, August of 2019, 400 years were up. And significantly, what happened right afterwards is by the end of the year of 2019, all of a sudden we hear about COVID, and now everybody's locked down in the house. Isn't that something? And what was one of the first things that we hear about? Oh, well, there's a coin shortage. Okay, we're locked down in the house. How is there suddenly a coin shortage? So you see, these things were plotted against us. We even look in the book of Psalms 83. If you don't mind me, can I read that real quick? Some of it?
Sure, Your Excellency. We are but setting it up. Today we are talking African spirituality and the spirit of Ubuntu. So, marinate us.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm bringing it full circle to that as well, because I'm excited to hear the words of His Majesty. But if we look at the book of Psalms 83, it says, keep not silence, Elohim. Hold not your peace and be not still, O God. For your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Isolele may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you. Now, isn't that something? If anybody remembers the Berlin Conference, where all of Africa was divided by all these European nations, isn't that something unique? So when we talk about African spirituality, you cannot talk about African spirituality without talking about the African people. We are those people, Bantu people, the people that are considered the chosen ones, the hidden ones, the special ones of the Most High. And I encourage every single one of you watching this stream right now live, or those who will go back and check out the replay later, remember who you are. Remember the importance of unification and where and where we must return. We must go through these processes of forgiveness. We must go through the processes of healing. And we must get back to the old ways of our forefathers, the righteous paths. So then that way we can begin to build a brighter future. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to hear and like I said, many of these things I learned while I was living in Africa. I've been to Ghana, been to South Africa. I'm actually headed back there to both places this year, actually in the next couple months, along with a few other countries in Africa. And I'm associated with a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters in the diaspora who have returned to the continent and the various countries from Kenya to Tanzania, Zambia, Ghana, Nigeria, the DRC, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, all these different countries in Africa. Many of them have returned and are excited about the things that they've learned. These are just a few things I've learned. And there's so much more I wish I could share, but we'll save those parts for other conversations. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm excited to hear what His Majesty has to say. And His Excellency, Brother Yakubi Bantu, Bayete.
Bayete, interesting you should mention as we wait for His Royal Majesty Chancellor King Bungane to join us. We also have Princess Bridget who will be joining us. You have been on the continent. We are talking about African spirituality, Bantu spirituality to be specific. There are things you have seen on the continent that are specific to the continent. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bayeti.
Yes, there are things that you have seen that are specific to the continent.
Mm-hmm.
So the setting that religion has brought,
Hmm.
and what you have discovered about your spirituality, because we're not even going to call it African spiritual, we're going to call it your spirituality, the
Mm-hmm.
spirituality of your ancestors. Perhaps help us shed some light.
Well, the one thing that is very tricky that has plagued a lot of folks in the diaspora, as much as it has plagued a lot of folks during colonialism on the continent, has been religion, the divide of beliefs, the structure of belief systems. And that's not our people. Our people never lived by a structure of belief systems. We just knew the creator. And how do we know the creator? Well, you can even look at it from the words of Yeshua when he said, and I'm paraphrasing it, but we we believe what we see and know. In other words, we believe the God of our ancestors, the God of our fathers. We don't believe just something, some pie in the sky. We believe the true and living God, the true and living, so nini na nini, not someone, these multiple gods, right? These different types of things, right? It's because religion has taught us to, if you're going to worship, worship this way. If you're going to praise, praise this way. If you're going to walk, walk that way, when the way of our forefathers has always been one direction: honor the creator. We see it in the Ten Commandments, if I can say it that way. You shall have no other God before the Lord your God. You shall not take his name in vain. You shall not create any image of him, of things you see, or beasts or angels of heaven, none of this stuff. You shall honor your father and your mother. This is something basic, right? And we see with many other nations, they don't even do that. But this has always been in Africa. I went to South Africa, my brother, and His Excellency, I appreciate you for allowing me to speak. But while I was in South Africa, I noticed the difference between the treatment of elders in South Africa compared to the United States. Is in the United States, we have senior citizen homes. So in other words, when your mom or your dad get old, put them in a senior citizen home. Let somebody else take care of them. In Africa, it's not that way. It's a shame if you don't take care of your own. Now there are some elders who do want to go to those kind of places so they can relax a little bit more. Granted, that's fine. That's okay to have those options available. But in the US, it is promoted. That's not the way of Africa. That's not the Bantu way. We take care of our own. We take care of our own people, our own children, our own elders, one another. We feed one another. We look out for one another. This is the way of the Most High. And that's African spirituality. That's us. Our spirituality, as you said. Bayete.
Bayete. And in your own words, Your Excellency, would you say there's an element of cognitive dissonance with our children when it comes to understanding the ways of their ancestors and the ways that have been trained and imparted to us by the enslaver?
Mm. In today's world, we see a lot of our young people not taking much interest at all. Um, they're inundated with the possibilities that our colonizers or the colonizers present to them. They're inundated with go to school, get a good job, get a great education, get a good job, marry that person, build a house, have a white picket fence around that house, get some dogs, but have 2 children, no more than 2, because if you have more than 2, whoo, it's crazy. Children are expensive. Pay taxes, retire, teach your children, and raise them to do the exact same thing. It's a cycle. We're taught to do that. But nobody stopped to say, go to school, learn skills, apply those skills to something great, have a family, enlarge that family, teach them to get great skills, to get understanding and apply that and do something great, to start a business or whatever, to have family. What about doing more than family? How about live? How about go fishing, feed, get farms, grow your food? Like these When I went to Ghana, one of my good friends said to me, I said to him, I said, you know what, I'm looking forward to going there. And this is my first time in Africa. I'm thinking, hey, you know what, I want to build a business and do some great things. And the first thing he said to me, he said, I want to go to Africa and just live. That idea is phenomenal. And a lot of our young people don't see that. And it's our responsibility, those of us who are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus. It's our responsibility to raise them up and train them up to remember the ancient ways and to walk upright. Bayete.
Bayete, Bayete. And of course, with your permission, Your Excellency, I wish to apologize for the House of Bungane, His Royal Majesty. South Africa is experiencing what is called load shedding.
Ah.
You are aware of this.
Oh, I
That's
know.
when he has blackouts. That's why you saw His Majesty come in and come out. We were hoping that Princess Bridget is with us, but she has not connected her audio. So I think we'll just keep going until we can find a solution to this. But we are looking forward to His Majesty's words, because today is a special day, and we expect every time His Royal Majesty speaks, wisdom oozes from his tongue. So now, given this, you as the president of the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, do you think you can work with government so that we don't have issues like this, load shedding? And what can the diaspora bring in? Because in this day and age, power cuts is not something we should be experiencing. Bayete.
Bayete. Your first question: do I believe that the United Global Kingdoms of Africa can work with governments to resolve this load shedding issue and other issues in general? I do believe we can, but I think it's going to be dependent on if the governments want to, if the people who are in leadership actually want to, if you want to solve the problem or not. Because at the end of the day, we are connected with a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters in the diaspora with the skills and the wherewithal to resolve a lot of the issues. But it's a matter of if you want to. You know, you cannot force anybody to want to collaborate. But I'm convinced that it's to their good, and it's to the good of all the people in Africa. And how many of the people on the continent, or let's just deal with South Africa for one, how many people in South Africa would highly appreciate the presidential administration and all the government leads if they did something like this, like fixing the ESCOM issue, making sure there was power or energy available to all the people on a consistent flow. Now, some people will say, "Oh, you know, that it's because of coal. There's a shortage in coal or whatever." No, there's not. No, no, there's not. There's sufficient amount of everything that's needed on the continent. In fact, I even look at the Congo. The Congo with the mountain of stones that send off electrician or electricity. That could power a whole lot on the continent. Excuse me. A whole lot of other countries as well. So if the government or any governments wish to work with United Global Kingdoms of Africa, I believe that we would have a phenomenal success together in helping all of our people. That's what it's about. So yes, I can. We can. Bayete.
Bayete, Your Excellency, if you may, His Royal Majesty Chancellor King Bungane is with us.
Bayete.
Introduce him so that he may meet our people.
Excellent, excellent. Bayete. First and foremost, it's an honor to introduce His Majesty, as always. Such a pleasure.
Apologies.
No, no worries, Your Majesty. No worries. If you don't mind, I'd love to introduce you to the peoples. Introduce the son, present to others. His Majesty, His Royal Highness Professor Chancellor King Bungane III of the Imbo Kingdom, former political prisoner, Robben Island with the late Dr. Nelson Mandela. Also a member of June 16th Foundation. chairperson of IMBO Economic Bloc, former head of administration audit of RSA Foreign Affairs, president of Afro-Asia Business Forum, member of Contra Lesa, former head of the political school of the ANC, also former soldier of Ubuntu Wisizwe, military wing of the ANC, former chairperson of the Military Veterans Association of the ANC, also chairperson of the vetting committee of the EPPA, which is the ex-political Prisoners Association, former member of the ANC International Relations Subcommittee of the ANC, Chancellor Emirates, conferred by UNESCO African Youth Parliament, former commissioner at the Department of Arts and Culture in RSA, His Royal Majesty King Bungane III of the Imbo Kingdom, is also a holder of Ikimanga in gold and conferred by His Excellency former President of South Africa, Zuma, for his outstanding role in exile with the Mandela Cultural Group of the ANC. And last but not least, UNESCO conferred Chancellor title to His Royal Majesty King Bungane III of the Imbo Kingdom of Africa. Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi. Your Majesty, still with your indulgence, because we honor you, and on this day, we want the people to hear exactly the praises that are given to you, the praises that are entitled to you, Your Majesty. So with your indulgence.
Thank you very much.
Zikode
Thank you very
kakubizembe makhulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu Bungane ziyengane eziyengumuntu zimyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengonyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu kubekisa ngathi siyamjamela ndlubu zamile kubini ngoba zisaba ukwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe sikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibo lude lungakhotha endlwaneni konke wezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawula imithi emncane emkhulu evela izwele mahluba amahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izimpondo zangelengele inkosi kayiqedwa.
Indeed, Nkosi Keketwa, we say, Your Majesty, Your Royal Majesty, greet your people. They are eager to hear from you.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear, Your Majesty.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to greet everybody in the continent, and I would also love to greet our people outside the continent, whom we refer as the diaspora. These are our people. And remember, prior to us referring to our people as the diaspora, these are our people. Some of them were forcefully taken out of the continent by the murderers, whom they claim to be religious. They claim that when we pray, the Creator will be praying in their image. They took our brothers and sisters to slavery. Number two, some of us went on the diaspora for greener pastures. So what I would like to talk about today, it is about us as the people of color, because we cannot differentiate between the divine spirituality and religion. Religion, it is a man-made thing. It has nothing to do with the Creator. Religion, it is something that was made by people that were selfish, people that ended up creating what we call a religion that is we refer today as Christianity. And these are members at that time of what we would refer as the Council of Nicaea. And this council, it was commissioned by the Roman Empire, by the Roman king, by the name of Constantine. So Constantine summoned the people from all corners of the world, and they met in a place called Nicaea. So what happened was they then agreed to create somebody who would be God. At the same time, they became confused and said it is their son. But at the same time, they were confused again because they ended up saying, let us pray the mother. Now, Constantine in the Roman Empire then said from where they agreed in Rome, then the Rome would become the mother of all churches of the world. That is why it was called the Catholic Church. Catholic simply means the mother of all churches in the world. So what happened again when they then agreed, there was one man who disputed that they must elevate somebody whom they refer as the Son of God. He said, I don't agree with what you guys are talking about as members of the Council of Nicaea. He was then punished, chased away because he differed with them. Then there was another group also broke away from the Catholic Church, or that group from the Council of Nicaea, created their own church. That church today we refer as the Anglican Church. These are the British monarchs. They created their own. And the very same king at that time, his name is King James. He created his own Bible also. That is what we read today as the King James Version. He commissioned a guy by the name of Lotovito to create the image that it is referred today as the white Jesus. It was a person who created his own image because he took his own picture and painted his own picture that today we pray as the Jesus. He is not Jesus, that person. Two, I want to explain that there is another group again that broke away also, that they created what we call another church. It is referred as the Wesleyan Church. It was Wesleyan who created that. Another one, it was the Lutheran Church. Another one, it was the Swiss Mission. These groupings, they came into groups. Today, when we go to a place that we call worship, that we call church, we are going to these people's domain. Okay? Now, what I want to talk about, it is something totally different. It is called the divine spirituality. Divine spirituality, it has nothing to do or connecting with all these churches that were created by men. Divine spirituality, it has to do with you connecting, praying the Creator who created heaven and earth. Let me repeat that. It has to do with you praying the Creator of heaven and earth, not other gods, because according to the scriptures, when we read, he clearly stated that he is a God that is very jealous. And then he said, do not pray other idols, do not pray other gods except me. But what is happening in the world today? When you walk in the place of worship, you see statues that are created by men. You go to Rome today, the Vatican Church, there are statues that you find. So it becomes a contradiction to the same Creator that we are talking about. We do not pray idols. We do not pray statues. We do not pray what we call deities. We pray the living God who is spiritual, is the one that we connect with. If you are connected to the same Creator that I'm talking about, then what is going to happen is that your life will totally change, because you have reclaimed, as a person of color, you have reclaimed the connection. It is like when you are having a mobile, you always saying hello, hello, you try to connect, but the network is not right. That is where we find ourselves, the people of color today. We have what we call load shedding in our lives, because we have disconnected with the Creator. We have disconnected with the Creator who has brought us on earth. We have no more connection. Remember, we have behaved like Nimrod in Babel. Nimrod created his own kingdom. Nimrod created his own kingdom, like the person that we would refer as Lucifer. Lucifer was a star, what we refer as a morning star. But what has happened to him, he disconnected because he felt that he had same equal powers with the Creator. He was chased out of heaven. It is the same with us on earth today, because what the Creator has given us, he has given us what we call a will. And he has given us the will, he has given us the heart, he has given us the soul. What we have done with all these things. Moreover, he has given us what we would refer as what we call melanin. Something that is designed like a pineal gland, something that releases a substance that is a liquid that makes us to connect with the cosmos and makes us to connect with the waters. That makes us to connect with him direct. But what we have done is that we have disconnected, because we were deceived by the Caucasians that do not have what we call melanin. They made us to pray the false gods. They've made us to pray what we will refer as something that is devilish. Today, when you look at the festives that we would say they are Christians, they are not Christians, they are Babylon festives, like what we would refer today as Easter. Easter, it is nothing else but a pagan festival that is referred as Ishtar. It is, it is the goddess of fertility. But today we refer ourselves as the divine people, praying all these things, having this festival. But these are pagan festivals, or things that are being celebrated by pagans. So what we need to do as the people of color, we need to reconnect and go back to the basics, to the origin. Then we would know who are we. Practical example. They will tell you that the Israelites are the ones that are occupying Israel. Those people are not. Those people are criminals who are coming from the Eastern Europe, who have forcefully occupied a country of our origin. They have nothing to do with us, those people. These are murderers. That's why day by day they will always continue to fight and kill innocent people in that space. That's why they cannot connect with divinity. Those that they refer themselves as the Jews, let me tell you, in the world of divinity, there are no Jews. There are only one divine people, that is the people of color. And those people of color, they were first discovered, and the first place where they were, it is in the Great Lake, in the mountain of the moons. That is where we come from. That is our place of origin. So all of us, when we start practicing divinity, we will be able to understand who we are, because we will then reclaim our origin. We will reclaim our purpose on earth. So the next time, if I am to speak, I'm going to be talking about how do we connect, how do we reclaim our destiny, how do we make use of the connection that I'm talking about to the divine. And there's only one creator, and that creator is the one who is in charge. not the devilish divinity or spirituality. I am talking about only one divinity, that is the one that has created all of us as the people of color, and is the one that makes us to see things. It is the one that gave us melanin. Today we are being hated by the Caucasian because they hate us because they were not given what we call melanin. People don't understand the origin of racism. The origin of racism, it has to do with hatred because they were not given what we refer as melanin. That's why they will always hate you. Even if you want to make friends with them, you are just wasting your time. I'm not saying I'm perpetuating racism, but I'm saying know who you are, what you are made of, and why you are on earth. Why you were created in this image. This is an image that you should be proud of, the color that you have, because it is a divine color. It is a divine color. I thank you very much. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi yami, Bayete Umkulu. And what do you have to say about our rituals that were demonized? Our Amadlozi were demonized. We do not have that connection to our Amadlozi. We do not have the connection to the rituals that our forefathers were taught by Nkulunkulu.
I agree with you. There's no such a thing as Amadlozi. People mistaken these things and they misunderstand, because remember, when we talk about divine species, we are not talking about human beings. Divine human species are people who are connecting with divinity. And then what has happened is that we should not forget that when Lucifer was chased out of heaven, he was pushed on earth. We should not also forget that the reason why he was chased out of heaven, he wanted to create his own species. He was not allowed to do so. He was pushed out because he created an image, but he could not raise that image, give breath, give life to that image. So he was chased out of heaven. So he created demons on earth. He created his own productions that we see today. Then there's another production today that we can talk about. If we remember in the Old Testament, we were talking about Abel and Cain. Remember, a person was killed. And then the Creator then decided to punish the one that he has killed. And then the descendants of Adam, they were constantly reminded that you don't marry from these guys who has killed, because these are people who are cursed. Now, these are different groupings that are created on earth. Remember also that there were angels that were sent on earth to do work. They crossed paths with the Creator. They continued making children on earth. So when you understand from that perspective, then you would understand that there are those who portray themselves as divine people and talk about Amadlos. We don't pray people who have lived on earth. We pray the divine Creator. And then those who have lived on earth, then they become practiced and connected with the Creator. They connected with divinity, with the Creator. Those people, when they go back to where they came from the heaven, what happened to them is that they become messengers. You don't pray those people, no. These are people who are messengers of the Creator on earth. These are people that you see who are divine. Now, there is another species that you find that you would refer as ancestors. Ancestors, there is this grouping that when they were here on earth, they crossed paths with the Creator. They started doing devilish things. They started doing wrong things that they could not go back to the Creator. They ended up wandering here on earth, moving up and down here on earth. These are people that today they possess lot of living souls here on earth. These are people that they manifest themselves as amadozi. So those are people that we don't connect with, because these are people that they did not adhere to the rules of heaven, and they were chased by the divine spirits. They were chased by the messengers in heaven. These are people who are withering on earth. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi Yam. But then, Your Majesty, when we speak of Bakoko Beto, when we're speaking of the ancestors, they are those ancestors that kept the ways and they become messengers to us. So how do we receive these messages as Bantu, as Abantwana Abangoni? How do we receive these messages?
Remember, if you live a divine lifestyle, if you live a divine spiritual connection, the divines one who lived divinity on earth, they become messengers. They will reconnect with you. They will come and tell you what to do. Then there are those that are deceivers, that they come and deceive you. Like here in South Africa, we've got a lot of people that they refer themselves as spiritual healers, whatever that they want to call themselves. But when you go into their so-called divine spiritual environment, you'd find them, they've got a lot of snakes, they've got a lot of animals that they killed, they've got a lot of tokoloshis. Those people are not divine. These are devilish, fetish people. So we don't connect with those. We connect with divinity. As long as you live the divine lifestyle on earth, they will reconnect with you because you are not contaminated. If you are contaminated with bad spirits, contaminated with earthly things, they will never come and show themselves to you. They'll never appear to you. Bayet.
Bayet Nkosiyam. So, can we say that Ujesu is the topology of the white man?
I beg your pardon, I was disturbed. My apologies. I did not hear that.
Bayet Nkosiyam. Can we say that Ujesu, this man that they have been pushing to our people on the continent and away from the continent, is he the tokolosh of the Caucasian? Is this the spirit that keeps our people deceived?
Remember, Nkosiame, is that when we talk about the same Jesus that we're talking about, we should not forget how to go back to the origin. Remember, we've got the Illuminati, we've got what we call the Freemasons, and then the Freemasons are the ones that created this creature so that we all get lost, so that we are all deceived. That's why today we've got people who create what we call COVID-19. Why? People don't understand why COVID-19, this virus was created. The virus was created because a lot of people, especially the people of color, that's why they were concentrating in sending vaccine to them, because they've got something that is called melanin. So the vaccine was to destroy this melanin, because whenever they do their things, this melanin, it disturbs the connection, it disturbs their frequencies, it disturbs what we call the transmissions. So they had to inject you so that they kill you, so that you don't succeed. So the Jesu that they're talking about, it is the Jesu that it was created by the Caucasians, the same Jesu, they tell you that you must forget about your forefathers, you must forget about your spirituality, because yours does not work, yours it is demonic. You must then pray theirs. So you must forget about that one. That's why our people, they are suffering like this today. That's why our people of the world, in the world, they cannot connect, because they cannot talk to their direct messengers, to their direct creator. Today they tell you that in the continent, we are people that we used to pray deities. No, it is those people who got lost in the continent who prayed the deities. It is not us. If you go back to the history of Kemet, you would understand that prior to those Arab Egyptians, that they call themselves Egyptians today, you'd know that we prayed the Creator, who is the Creator of heaven and earth. That's why everything that we used to do, it connected with Him. I thank you.
Bayete Nkosi Yam, and a question coming in from one of the viewers.
Yes.
Can you help us differentiate between the fake and the real spiritualists in Nkosi Yam?
Yes, the fake ones, as I said, they are always connected with the Freemasons. And then you remember during the time when there was what we call the Christian Crusades. Remember, these are the people who used to spill blood under the name of the cross. They fought wars to enforce Christianity onto our people. Now, if indeed Christianity was a divine religion, why did they kill people? Why did they spill blood? Because if you understand why Abel and Cain had an issue, a dilemma, because one has killed the other. Okay? Now remember also, when we go back, when Adam, Lucifer, when he was chased out of heaven, he was chased out for one reason. He created a species, and then he could not raise, he could not put air, breath into this person. He was chased out of heaven. So to kill, it was something that the Creator never associated with. That's why we, the people of color, we are referred as the people who do not dwell into sin. In our language in the continent, we refer ourselves as the Angoni people. Angoni simply means I am not dwelling into sin. So we are divine souls that do not dwell into sin by killing. That's why they take advantage of us, of our good heart, because they know that that is our weakness, because we are divine souls. So the Jesus that we are talking about, it has to do the foundation of Christianity. It has to do with the Christian crusades, by killing, forcing people. That's why when the missionaries came into the continent, they had the Bible and the gun. They forced you. They took our children because they knew the little ones. If we indoctrinate the little ones, we send them to missionary schools. We send them overseas to go and study Christianity. They become the reverends of those times. We will then have conquered these people of color. So we don't associate with murderers. We don't associate with religion. Religion, it is not something that is divine. Religion, it is something that pays allegiance to the very same Council of Nicaea, to the very same people at the Vatican. If you understand the foundation of the Vatican, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about, because there's not divinity in what they're doing. If there was divinity, we wouldn't hear the stories about the very same reverends abusing our children, abusing young boys in their custody. It simply means that they are surrounded with devilish, fetish things. Bayete
Nkosi Yam. Then there's a very popular misconception that has gotten traction, and I wish, with your indulgence, Nkosi Yam, to set the record straight. Did any Africans sell their brothers to the Caucasians into slavery?
One, they forcefully bought the kings in the continent. I will make a practical example of Shaka Zulu. According to the stories that we heard about Shaka, when he gave brothers to the British, we were told that he sent his own people to go and learn the trade and to learn how they do things, how they shoot with the gun. That's what we were told when we were young. So when we learn the story of our people were sold into slavery. They were sold because they were also deceived, our kings in the continent. They were deceived by these Arabs who came with shiny staffs, who came with mirrors to come and deceive our kings, and then they sold the soul of our brothers. Some of our kings in the continent also, they were given monies to sell our brothers and sisters into slavery. That's how I would answer it.
Bayete Nkosi yam, Bayete. And in the recently concluded IDO conference, this issue also came up, and the panel that discussed there, they said, no African, with the love that we have, the Ubuntu that we have in us, can push their brother into slavery. What do you have to respond to that, Nkosi yam?
I have a different view, you know. I have a different view. For the love of money, you can do anything. Remember, we are people that were referred as the Angoni people, meaning people do not dwell into sin. Remember, the minerals underneath our land does not belong to us, it belongs to the Creator. We were here to become the custodians, to guard those minerals, but instead we decided to dig them without the permission of the Creator. We decided to start living the glittery life. So we became selfish. We broke the oath, we broke the covenant like Nimrod has done. So many of our kings found themselves in that environment. I'll make a practical example. Kingship in Southern Africa today, we refer people as kings, but in the true sense, they are not kings. I'll make a practical example. How the Zulu kingdom was established. The Zulu kingdom was established because it is under what we call the British Protectorate. Okay? And then the so-called king, he's a paramount chief under the British ruler. Okay? You go to Lesotho, it's the same setup. You go to Swaziland, it's the same setup. Now, in the divine approach, if we refer to a king is somebody who is chosen by the Creator. He becomes the ambassador on earth. He becomes the eyes and the ears of the Creator on earth. That's why the kingdoms, they become the replica of heaven on earth. That's why that prayer that says, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy shall be done as it is done in heaven on earth." That is exactly what I'm talking about, because kings are chosen. Now, the kings that I'm talking about are not kings. These are the people who decided to sell our brothers and sisters into slavery, because these were selfish people. These are people who killed genuine kings and became the kings. Like many in Southern Africa, you'd find out these are installed kings by the British here in South Africa. Same applies in other countries in the continent. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi yam, Bayete. Very much insight that you're sharing with us. Now, Nkosi yami, how do our people and our listener, our viewer watching us, how do they disconnect from this false doctrine of Ujesu and return to what belongs to them?
All what they need to do is to do what we call an introspection in their lives. They need to reconnect with the Creator. They need to go and kneel down and say to the Creator, "We have wronged you. I have wronged you. I want to ask for forgiveness. I am asking you to reconnect with me. I am asking you to cleanse me all the wrong things that I've done on earth. I want to reconnect to you, Father." Because this is our Father. This is the person who has created us. He brought us here on earth to prepare the ground for those who are coming after us. That's why a lot of people don't understand. When you are born for a certain period, for a task that you have been sent to do on earth. Now, all of us, we don't do things that we've been assigned to do on earth. We end up doing wrong things, going to wrong churches, doing wrong prayers. We end up cutting the link with the Creator. So what we need to do is to reconnect. We need to pray. And the prayer I will share with you in the next conversation. How to pray, how to connect with the Creator. Because what is key I did the same thing also. I was also lost, because what used to happen, my mother used to go to the Roman Catholic Church. I discovered these things. My mother was not happy with me, but later she discovered that I was right. You understand? Because the most important thing, it is for you to reconnect. Did you know that when a person is born, before he or she is born, this person, when he comes on earth or she comes on earth, there is a process that happens for you to be here on earth. And then when you are here on earth, you are given certain days for you to accomplish the mission that you have been assigned to do here on earth. Some of us are given 5 days. Some of us are given 6 days, 7 days, 10 days. Now, we don't understand that dynamic. 5 days become 50 years. 6 days become 60 years. So if we all understand that we are not here because of our liking, we are here to do things. The messengers that I'm talking about, these are people who are here to always reconnect with you, to give you your task, to always remind you with your task, to always assign you to do things. But if you have broken the oath and the covenant of heaven, you can't connect with these people. You become a person who is in the wilderness. If we also borrow from the scripture, when Adam broke the covenant with Eve, what has happened to him? The Creator asked him, "Where are you, Adam?" Not that he did not see him, he could see him. What he was asking him, he says, "Where are you?" Because you are no longer part of the divine kingdom. You have broken the covenant. You are no more with us. What is that you have done? Because he was constantly reminded, and before he was assigned with the project to be the project manager of the Garden of Eden, he understood his task. That's why he was told, this is who you are. This is what you are here on earth to do. You are here to be the eyes and the ears and the mouth of the Creator here in this garden. That was his task. And then what has happened is that he was told to say, don't mess up with that tree, because if you mess up with that tree, that is the tree that will bring death in your life. So that's exactly what we have done. We have messed up with the tree of life. We have messed up with the connection. That's why we have disconnected. That's why I always talk about load shedding. We have disconnected from the power. What we have done in our lives is that we have invited technicians that are not the one that has built the power station that is supposed to reconnect and to give us life. That power station that we have reconnected with now, it is a power station that has no connection with us. These are the churches that I'm talking about. These are the Jesus that I'm talking about. That's why we have lost it. So what we need to do is to reconnect and ask for forgiveness and reconnect with the Creator and live a divine lifestyle. A divine lifestyle, it is what you find in the prayers of Martha. When you use those prayers of Martha, you would understand that there are a lot of things that we have disconnected in our lives. I thank you.
Bayete inkosi yami, bayete. Long life to the house of Bungane. Inkosi yami, what do you have to say about, we have seen a new trend, people wanting to associate themselves with your royal house, doing things in the name of your royal house. What perhaps a comment?
Bayete. Can I just define what is a royal house first? Remember, on earth, I'm going to give you an insight of heaven. What has happened for us to be here on earth? There was a meeting in heaven where angels, messengers, who were asked to do things on earth, in the evening they would go back and they find out their work has overlapped. They then made a request to say, our work is overlapping. Is it possible for you, the Creator, to allow us to stay some days on earth? That's how the 5 days comes into existence. That's how the 6 days comes into into existence. The 4 days comes into existence. Because the work that is given to us, it depends with the days that we are here on earth. So what happens is that the Creator then said to his council in heaven, if they're going to go and stay without any overseer on earth, is going to be a problem. What we need to do is to appoint people on that is here in heaven, so that they are able to go on earth to become the eyes and the ears and the mouth of the Creator. That's how kingdoms were created on earth. That's why they become a replica on earth, the kingdoms. So the policy, the kingdom becomes the divine place. It becomes a divine space for our people. That's why when people go to the king, they ask for blessings. They get the blessings because the king is the one who's appointed by the Creator. Okay. Now in the divine policy, you would find that there are a lot of laws that you need to adhere to when you are in that space. Now there are these kingdoms that I'm talking about that were created also because it was a contestation of space. It was created by Lucifer here on earth. These are the kingdoms today that they create the problem on earth. That's why we've got all this problem, because today people, they think by associating with kingdoms or palaces that they become divine. No, they must first look at the systems and how they live. The king, how does he live with his queen, with his children in the palace? How do they conduct themselves? Then you know that you are now in the divine space. But the other ones, where you find they kill, those kingdoms, they are not divine. These are man-made kingdoms. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi, a question coming in from John Watiru, I believe.
Yes.
That's from East Africa. What are your thoughts on children from interracial marriages? Are they connected?
It's a discussion of another day. If you allow me, Nkosiame, to have a discussion. Yeah, if you allow me, maybe let's have a day where we talk about what is marriage in our context. How do we marry? What are procedures to marry? Maybe that is where we should start, so that when we talk about the intermarriages, we then understand from that perspective. Don't you think it will be well if we have a discussion specifically on the origin of marriage? Bayete.
Bayete, indeed, Nkosi, because we also need to delve into Lobola, which sanctifies the marriage from the Bantu perspective, because some of these ceremonies, we know they have no spiritual connections. That's why we have the rate of divorce has gone up. Yes, I stand guided.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. If you allow me, Nkosiam, to have a discussion on that, I'll be happy.
Nkosiam, of course, the house of Kenda Moyoru is always open arms to the house of Your Royal Majesty King Bungane, because we have, as my people say, kumadhara kumamwaki, we have to snatch them from the fire, and they have to understand the truth. So Nkosiam, and we are always grateful that you engage us. Perhaps one more question, so that I see the princess has graced us with her presence, and my viewers do really enjoy her. So one more question, Nkosiam. Our people want to return home. So many people are claiming that they are returning our people home. Nkosiam, you have endorsed one organization, and I like when you categorically placed us. Perhaps with your own stand direction, you can tell us which organization is this that you have endorsed to work and to speak on the behest of the house of Bungane. Bayete Nkosiam.
Bayete. Remember, our kingdom, as the Embo kingdom, we don't do things because we wake up and we want to do things. We don't think we don't do things because we're sitting with people, then we want to decide to say this is how things are going to. Embo kingdom, it is ruled by the Creator. He gives us instructions. Me on earth, I'm just the ears, I'm just the mouth and the eyes of the Creator. I'm just the ambassador on his behalf. That's why Embo is created as a divine kingdom. So when a discussion of this nature was raised, I took it upon to the prayers. I deliver it to the Creator. The Creator then gave me clear instruction to say we need to have an organization that is called United Global Kingdoms of the continent, that is of Africa. And that organization must be the one that is in charge before our children, they leave wherever they are to come to the continent. It must prepare, it must do all the preparations. It must do everything before they come here so that when they arrive here, they arrive in a better place. So this organization, it is divinely appointed. It was not appointed by me. I was given an instruction so that this organization must be the one. The president, I think, is present in our discussion. He's the one who's appointed. We've got a board. We've got an executive. We will be launching it so that everybody must know. Nobody must, I'm putting a disclaimer to those who are giving names, changing names to our people in the diaspora. If that is the case, the Creator will tell me. And before, I'll just make a practical example. If we are to coronate a chief in our kingdom, I don't do that. I'm given an instruction. Even the day of the coronation, I am being given step by step, every step how to do that coronation. It is not me who's doing it. It's divinely done. So in this journey also of bringing our brothers and sisters back home, we want to do it in the same way. And also the naming, change naming, we will do that. Now, there's a process. You cannot just give somebody a name without cleansing that person, without re-giving birth to that person, so that that person become a born again and became a new name. That's why I said to you, let us have a discussion about marriage, because you would understand how when a woman is married, how a process is done for this person to be brought into the family of the husband. So we need to understand those dynamics so that we don't do wrong, so that we don't go against the rules of the Creator and the rules of heaven. I thank you.
Bayete Nkosi, I always appreciate you, Nkosi, because even when we had the idol, you were very busy, but you still took time through Chief and Nkosi, Mashele, and we were able to have a brief discussion. So I know you are a person that is dedicated to your people. Now, our people are also asking to the royal leadership, what is our default governing system? How and when will nomination and elections of our the continental president take place?
Okay, I think we need to differentiate between the two things. The governments that you see in the continent, these are not divinely chosen government by the Creator. These are all Freemasons, Illuminati governments that you see. One, you would talk about the Francophone, Lusophone, Anglophone. These governments are not right. That's why we have created what we call the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, where we are going to be coexisting, having our own president who is here. We would have also, the cabinet. We will also have the government for the constitution. This will be the government of our own people. And then elections If needs be, they will be there for you to choose your own democratically your government, because this is very important, because we need to create our own currency, and not a currency that it is backed by criminals somewhere. Today you can see how the dollar it is deflating. It is because it was supported or backed as a commodity from the oil of the Arabs. Now what we need to do is to sit down and say, can we ask the Creator to give us permission to use the mineral resources to back our currency? If one of the mineral resources or the resources is the sun, for example, if we can pattern the sun in the continent, we make it something that is valuable, that is going to be backing our currency. Let me tell you, as you see, the world is crumbling. As you see, all the electricities, there is problems about coal, there's problem about what. If we all sit down and agree as the United Global Kingdoms of Africa to use the sun as the commodity that is going to be backing our currency, and the sun is going to be the one that is supporting our electricity, I think we will be able to go forward. Because our government that I'm talking about, it is a divine government that has nothing to do or attached to any killings or any blood that how governments were established in the continent. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi Yam. And with your indulgence and your permission, of course, Nkosi Yam, perhaps we can give the princess and the spokesperson of the Kingdoms of South Africa to greet the people. With your indulgence, Nkosi Yam.
Bayete, no problem, Nkosi. Bayete.
Princess Lorna, Bayete.
Bayete, Bayete to His Majesty King Bungane III, and happy birthday. And Bayete to you, the Crown Prince. Bayete to Mr. President. Bayete.
Bayete. Thank you very much, Princess Lorna. We are an interesting discussion we are having with His Royal Majesty Nkosi, and there is this issue keeps popping up, and this is the issue of the naming. A lot of people have been deceived to believe that they have received ancestral names. I would love it if you would tell them that those names hold no value and why they should not just take up names without going through the cleansings, because this is something that keeps popping up. Nkosi Yami.
I thank you very much. I think it's very important for us to understand that I was told that there was a gentleman, must he be forgiven. I was told that there was a guy, and I forgive him, and I hope the Creator also forgive him. Is the one that went around and then giving people certificates and changing names. That thing does not hold water. The only kingdom that can do that, it was Embo Kingdom, if needs be. But currently, we have not done that. The only thing that we were busy with, it was the appointment of and in the continent. So whatever that the certificate was given to you, regard it as not the certificate that was signed by me. I don't sign in that manner. And also the type of color of the certificate, it is not me. It was not done by me. I put a disclaimer on that. But it is never too late. You are our children. The devil will try his own ways to do whatever that he wants to do. I remember the other time when King Bungane was talking about divinity, somebody decided to hack our discussion. They put porno. So that's the devil. So these are tendencies. So such people you always forgive, and then you give space, and then you You give them a chance to repent, and they will be okay. So my apologies to those that were given those certificates. I want to really profoundly apologize for what has happened. It was not done by us. It was not done by Embo. My sincere apologies for that. And we will do it right. And then we will reconnect with you. We will create the new group chat with you, because you are the children of the continent and you are the children of the Creator. Now, you see how the Creator works his way. You know, he made you to have all these problems so that you connect with me today. Imagine this is how God works with his ways, to make sure that he shames the devil. So those certificates are not ours, but the names, we did not change names. We don't give names. But if the Creator wants us to do so, we will do so. Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi Yam. And on a final note, because I know you are very busy and your time is never taken for granted, call your children home, call them home. Let that voice ripple through the airwaves and tell our people to come home. In your own words, Nkosi Yam.
Bayete, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to first start by apologizing for the wrong things that has happened to you. You are the children of the Creator. The Creator knows how to do his things. That's why he has restored the kingdom that is called Embo today, to make sure that you come back in good hands. You don't come back to wrong hands. So I want to apologize for those people who participated in taking you guys to slavery. My apologies for that. Now, we've got a body that is called United Global Kingdoms of Africa. In this body, we are saying this is your home, this is your government, this is your organization. I am calling upon you to associate yourself with the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, and make sure that you reconnect with them, and make sure that anything that you want to do to come back, make sure that those processes are done properly through the United Global Kingdoms of Africa. This is the only body that I trust, and this is the only body that I know that it has been blessed and appointed by the Creator. The other ones do not adhere to. Now, our mission here, it is to make sure that we retake over the continent with all your skills, with all your power. We need to come together and create blocks based on our knowledge, our education. Let's make sure that we do not only come to South Africa, but we spread the whole continent. We'll be engaging with our brothers and sisters in the continent to make sure that we reclaim, because all our land has been stolen by the very same governments, by the same Freemasons. We'll make sure that even if they're stolen, we will buy it back, so that we build our own empires, we build our own Timbuktu, we will build our own universities, we build our own institutions, we build our own economy, we build our own mines, all those things. But these things, they can be only realized if we are united. We cannot do these things without the unity of us as the people of color. We need to decamp from colonial thinkings, colonial structure. Now, there's only one thing that I will always talk about, is divinity. For us to be able to achieve all this, you need to embrace the divine spirituality. If you do that, what it does to you, it makes you to be humble. It builds what we call a culture. It builds what we call a tradition. It builds what we call a divine nation. Out of that, we'll be able to build a divine nation in the continent. We'll build a nation that is not hostile against each other. A nation that does not fight each other. A nation that does not spill blood, but a nation that is a visionary nation. So it is the only way, if we embrace divinity. Divinity, not the divine spirit spirituality, that of the devilish, the one I spoke about earlier on, if we all reconnect, let me tell you, it is something that you will always brag about it. You'll always, if you have it in your system, it is something that you will always be grateful to the Creator for having it, because it is something that is sacred. It's something that will make you to want to connect with more people who live in that space. Because if you find people who live in that space, you would have reconnected with your brothers and sisters, and then you would have reconnected with the nation. Come back, but before you do that, in your spaces, wherever you are, reconnect, so that when you reconnect with us in the United Global Kingdom of Africa, you'd find divinity. You'll find how humble we are. Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi yam. And of course, with your permission, Nkosi, from the East, we wish you long life. We wish you more wisdom. We wish you all the blessings that are accorded to your royal house. We wish you all that belongs to you. In the language of my ancestors, Dai Dada Yangai Dai, Dai Dada Yangai Dai, Dai Dada Yangai Dai, Murugu Mwenenyaga, Arogo Kinyeria, Udamaki waku, Ogedhamakira ciana ici, Maria mothe magokonie, we muthamaki Bungane wa gatatu, urotura muoyo na ũgima na ũtheru na ũthingu, ciana ciaku igicoka muciĩ na ciothe tweteirwo thai thathaia Ngai thai, thai thathaia Ngai thai, thai thathaia Ngai thai.
Bayete.
Of King Bungane.
Yes. They are thanking you. You see, when you hear that from me, you must know it's a reconnection. It is the divine reconnection. They are saying thank you very much for those blessings and those praises. Bayete.
Nkosi yam.
Thank you very much to everybody.
President Lavelle, one more word as we allow His Excellency to rest on this, his great solar return. Another cycle given to a man who stands for his people, who stands by his people. Umkhonto, the king, the warrior, the lion. As we send him out with the royal proclamations to his title worthy.
Bayete.
Zikade kagobizembe makhulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu Bungane ziyengane eziyengumuntu zimyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengonyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu ubuyisa ngathi siyamjamela ndlubuzamile kubini ngoba sisaba ukwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe sikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibolude lungakhotha endlwaneni konke wezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawula imithi emncane emkhulu evela izwele mahluba amahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izipondo zawungele inkosi kayiqedwa.
Bayete. Thank you very much. Bayete.
President Lavelle.
Bayete.
Last remarks.
His Royal Majesty said enough. Bayete.
Bayete. Good people of Embo, until next time.
Bayete.
All praises to Sonini Nani. Unhandle banner Ubuntu. Rise of a nation sounds from a liberated Bantu. It can be banner Bantu. All praises to